International stock markets are crashing amid global uncertainty from tariffs. So, what does this mean for regional financial institutions? I'm joined by the Group CEO of EFG Holding, Karim Awad. Thanks for chatting with me today.
Thank you for having me.
We have seen turmoil on global financial markets. Tariffs were introduced throughout the MENA, only 10% in the GCC, but other countries suffered higher tariffs. What are the implications?
So I think it's actually quite early to tell what the full implications are, because I think what the market is reacting to is that there is an air of uncertainty, which investors definitely do not like. I think a lot remains to be seen, whether there will be further escalations, whether there will be negotiations, and that will lead to de-escalations in the tariffs that have been imposed. I think when it comes to the MENA region, as you said, as you correctly pointed out, it's only a 10% tariff on most of the core markets that we are operating in as EFG Holding. But at the end of the day, I think part of the reason is negative sentiment in general. Investors are global in their nature, so what happens in one part of the world will definitely impact the other part of the world. And I think the third factor that comes into play is definitely the prices of oil and where they will go, because this will have a direct correlation to the region here.
And where do you anticipate the prices of oil going? We're seeing OPEC Plus play around with supply to try to control the price.
I think this is an area that remains to be seen for sure. You also have to take into account the impact that this will have on shale producers in the U.S. Once oil prices also start dropping to a certain level, shale does not necessarily become as economic to drill for as it was previously. This is part of the reason why a lot of also shale producers in the US today are unhappy, because they thought that the Trump administration is going to usher a new era for shale oil, and this might not happen. So I'm not really sure where it will balance out with shale going down, OPEC increasing its production. Let's see.
And you've led EFG through political turmoil, through market shocks. What is your strategy moving forward in light of everything that's happening right now?
So as you said, our model has been stress tested quite a bit since 2011 with the political events in Egypt, through 13, through COVID, Ukraine, Gaza, and so on. I think the most important thing is you need to be calm whenever you meet a certain challenge. You think about it, you try to evaluate things, you do not jump to conclusions, and always think on the medium to long term prospects. You should not take decisions that will impact on you in the short term. You should always think about how it will impact you on the medium to long term. And this is why when you were asking me about the impact of the tariffs, I said it was a bit too early to evaluate the overall impact. We need to see where the dust is going to settle, and then redraw the plans going forward.
It's definitely too early, but certainly you have a strategy for the coming months and probably Q3 and Q4 of this year.
We're actually still quite hopeful that a lot of the pipeline that we're seeing, for example, in terms of IPOs and M&As, are going to get executed. I don't think the world is going to necessarily stop. There will be a period where people are going to hold all their activities to understand the overall magnitude of what is happening. Sooner or later, activity is going to come back. I think the main factor that worries me a bit when it comes to IPOs and M&As and so on is the level of valuations. With the markets dropping, valuations are no longer as appealing as they used to be. But in general, I think this region has a ton of good companies, and these good companies will need investor exposure and will need to grow going forward.
It certainly does. And do you think that some of the turmoil that's happening in the US, China, and Europe will bring more investment dollars into companies that are based out of this region?
I think you have already been seeing that over the past years. A place like Dubai, a place like Saudi Arabia, where investors are actually flocking into to both countries in order to invest. You see a lot of also human capital that is moving into this region, highly qualified human capital, a lot of tech companies that are opening up their bases here. So I think this region is going to continue to be quite dynamic going forward.
And EFG advised on Talabat's $2 billion IPO, on Lulu's $1.7 billion IPO. What do you have in the pipeline?
We don't really disclose or the companies that we have in the pipeline, but we have a very healthy pipeline between Saudi, UAE, and Kuwait. A number of IPOs, a number of M&A transactions. Again, remains to be seen where the dust is going to settle in terms of markets and markets movements. But in general, we continue to be quite bullish about this region. And I mean, it is our home base, and we will continue to be here.
Can you give us an idea of the potential number of IPOs in UAE and Saudi, for example, over the next 1 year?
Although the guys in banking will kill me for this, I think it is above 7 to 8 IPOs that we're looking at within the next year or so.
And we do see you expanding in Saudi, increasing your headcount there. You want to improve your market presence there. How have the outcomes been so far?
We're quite happy about Saudi Arabia. We're quite happy about the prospects that we have over there. In addition to working with the government, for example, on the IPO of Aramco, and as well as on the follow-on offering that happened last year as well. We also work a lot with family businesses that are in the mid to large scale. A lot of really good businesses over there, excellent management teams, good strategies, good growth prospects. So we think Saudi Arabia is going to continue to be a core market for EFG and a core driver of its growth going forward.
And where do you see the biggest opportunities in this region right now and going forward?
You mean in terms of industries?
Yes.
So I think there are two indices that I've always liked. I always liked consumer. Anything that has to do with consumer spending and consumer indices is things I like. I think we have a large population base in this region, young population. They also have needs. They also have growth needs, service needs, and so on. The other thing is tech. I think you have some really good minds here, some excellent ideas, companies that are becoming unicorns every now and then. So I think those are two indices that I'm quite bullish about.
And value really puts EFG at the center of the MENA fintech wave. Are there any more similar companies in the pipeline for you?
So we're always on the lookout for the next opportunity. Value was a different prospect. We started this company from scratch together with the management team over there. I remember us coming up with the brand name itself 7 or 8 years ago. To see where it has grown today is a great source of pride for everyone that is involved at EFG. We're happy about the prospect of it going public on the Egyptian Stock Exchange within the next couple of months, because it's also a start of a new chapter for the company.
Karim Awad Group, CEO of EFG Holding. Thanks so much
Thank you
for
very much,
chatting with
Ramia.
me today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.